What's our theme music?
Hey, you like it? You like
Are
it?
we on?
We're on. We're on. We're on. We're back. We're back. We're live. We're live. We're live. Good evening to everyone. Good evening to everyone. Good to be back here live again on our second episode, second edition here this evening. Um, we are still kind of working through some things, so we
Wait, no, I'm not ready.
hope everybody can just bear with us as we continue to make this better and better and better and better. Um, but it is March the 9th. It's been 2 weeks since
2023.
2023. It's been um, 2 weeks since we were last on. And again, we're going to continue to be on every 2 weeks. And we are streaming live to Kelly's Facebook page.
I'm actually gonna, since you was so upset about it, it's gonna be from the at the Helm page.
No, I've got it on here.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean? You have it on there. So here's the full transparency. I just walked into the house about 8 minutes ago.
6.
Okay, so I don't know what you already have set up, but I came to sit down and thought we were ready to go. So tell me what we're doing. I don't need to.
No, so you can get on your Facebook page so you can see the comments.
My personal one.
Yes, but you don't need to go live.
Then how am I going to see the live feed?
Just because we're streaming to it.
Okay.
So we are streaming.
This is how you are seeing in real time how the sausage is made, people.
Yes.
It's okay. It's all right. We never claim to be professionals.
Not yet, but we're going to get there.
Yeah.
And we're also streaming live to our At the Helm Facebook page and as well as At the Helm YouTube page. So definitely find that subscription. Definitely like that subscription so we can get some followers on there, some traffic on there, and get the algorithms up. So it will be much easier to find every time someone goes there. So as we're waiting for her to get ready, I think we have made it to maybe a TikTok again. We're trying to be live too many places. But you got it yet?
No, I don't. I don't even know what I'm going to get, but go ahead.
So since a lot of again has happened since we've been here the last 2 weeks. A lot has been going on. With Mr. John Morant. We know he has been in the news. If anybody has seen the Chris Rock special, where he was live finally dealing with his situation that he had with Mr. Will Smith. What else has been happening since we've been on last?
I mean, a lot. I don't. A lot has happened in 2 weeks. We closed out Black History Month. We've now started Women's History Month. Yesterday was International Women's Day. Shout out to all my ladies out here making it happen.
And I think we're going to talk about some relationship things this evening as well. Who is on there?
So, hey Rodney. So this says that I'm live. So where did you? I don't know what we're doing.
Okay, you are live, but we're good.
So hey Rodney. So this says that I'm live.
Can you turn the volume down on your computer?
I got this. I did it already.
This might be close to the last time we do this, maybe.
Is there anybody out there that works with their significant other? Y'all let me know how that's working out.
Pray for them. Pray for them, please.
Let me know how that works
and
out.
So y'all kind of know how she wants to be. She already done turned herself into a star. where she walks in 5 minutes before things start, and
It's
then
not
she
true.
gonna come in and just come in and do whatever.
I am
And
not trying to be a diva.
clearly, y'all.
Do you have something that you want to talk about tonight other than me?
No, I think you're a
Oh,
good.
okay.
I
Well,
think
you go. You go ahead, and I'm just gonna sit here.
you're a
Go
good
ahead.
topic this
Go
evening.
ahead.
You're a good topic this evening. So the last time we were on, we had several questions that came through, um, and we wanted to discuss some of those. And I think there were some things that there were some topics about relationships. Can you find those questions? Maybe.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what they were?
I don't, but I mean, I think tonight we decided we were going to talk about relationship. So, um, leaning into our relationship, we have been married for 29 years, and I want done.
Oh,
What's this? March 29 years, 10
count it,
months,
count it, count it.
14 days,
Mm-hmm.
and 12, 13, 14 hours and 8 minutes
And seconds.
and 6 seconds.
7, 8.
So, anyway, so there's a lot, and we still don't know. If y'all listening, you can hear the
Mm-hmm.
special effects. Let me know. So we touched on it a little bit last time we were here about what makes relationships work. And I think you just have to establish, like, again, what is the deal breaker? What's the deal breaker for you? If you are someone looking to have children and somebody else doesn't want to have children, is that a deal breaker? If you're looking to be a stay-at-home mom or dad, and your other person is not looking really for you to be that, because that really kind of was my plan, but it didn't work out. The mom part worked out. The stay-at-home part, we didn't ever get to that.
I don't know if I ever knew that until like recently.
See, but it wasn't a deal breaker. If I gotta go to work, I gotta go to work. That's what it is. So you have to figure out.
You should have said that earlier on, and I could have started working on that.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I can be a stay-at-home grandma now. Like, we got these.
It's too late. We done got
no. I
no
can
need
be
to
a
change.
stay-at-home grandma.
No need to change after 29 years.
So, anywho, what's the deal breaker? Like, so you have to figure that out. Now, I will just speak for myself. If for Wayne, somebody who was domesticated, if that was his deal breaker, that you gotta be that, we would have made it 30 years, because I don't cook, I don't clean. Let me tell you, you got this. Oh, that's another thing. That's another thing. That's another thing. That's another thing.
We wouldn't have made it 30 days.
So figure out what your deal breaker is, and then come into relationship. And people always say communication is key. Communication is key in a relationship, but not just communication. It has to be effective communication, and you have to, when you're communicating with people, make sure that the words that you use mean the same thing, right? Because Wayne will say, for instance, I'm on my way. He'll say, I'm on my way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to me, if you're on your way, you're in the car. At least you're in the car and you're on the highway that brings you the way. So you're on the way. But Wayne could say, I'm on my way, and he is still really sitting on the sofa. He's still sitting at his desk. He has thought about being on the way. So in his mind, he's on the way. So what I have learned is when Wayne says, I'm on the way, I have a follow-up question. But where are you? Where you at, Wayne? So that's how. So communicating is not just. Communicating is not a. That's not the be all end all. It's not. It has to be effective communication, and you have to be able to tell people what it is that you need in a relationship. And I think early on, I did a pretty good job telling you.
And so sometimes it takes a while, but so the other day when I was at work and I was texting you and you said you were on your way home, I almost text back and said, I'm on the way home too. But then I thought about it. I was still at work.
Yeah, you're not on your
So,
way.
but I didn't text you that. I texted you and said, I'm getting ready to leave work in a few minutes. So after 29 years, it's starting to work. It's starting to work.
And we notice, oh, okay, so I found the question. So if you all notice, I noticed that we just always say the years that we've been married. Sometimes people will say, been married 30 years, been together 42. Like that's not our testimony. We've been married 30 years, we've been together 31 years, I guess. 32 years. I really don't remember dating Wayne for 2 years. Like I don't remember. And I don't even remember the whole dating process. I think probably because we were friends already anyway. So if we were at a softball game and we're playing, like we weren't really dating. Like you was chasing.
Oh.
You won't chase. Don't act like you won't chase.
Okay, I'm just
Don't
saying.
act like you won't chase.
I'm just saying. If we want to get into that story, this is another. We may not have enough time this evening. You don't really like my version of this story, but
I mean, there's just a one version of the story.
I
And-
mean,
and that's
yeah,
the
mine,
story.
the right version.
That's the story.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna move over.
talking about somebody chasing.
Somebody said they know Aubrey in real life. She's your friend. Oh, this is my TikTok people. Effective communication makes all the difference. That is true. Who am I talking about? Who said that? Look at you talking about me like that. So, yeah. So, and so the question was, how have we made this successful as an interracial couple? That was the question. And I think now the race piece would be maybe a lot more prevalent in a relationship, because I don't know after 2016 how people in interracial relationships, how they even get together, because it's hard now even knowing if you want to, I don't know, be friends with people of other white people. Let me just say that. Because I mean, those Trump years let people really know who people were, who you thought were your friends. I can't say that specifically I lost any friends. I don't think I lost it. I unfriended some people on Facebook, but we weren't friends. Like, and people got unfriended because they either said things that didn't align with who I was or what I liked, or they didn't say things. So if you didn't have nothing to say about Ahmaud Arbery, if you didn't have nothing to say about Breonna Taylor, if you didn't have nothing to say about George Floyd, then you didn't have nothing to say to me. Because I don't know how people could just sit. How can you be silent? But I noticed most of the people, they would post things about animals, animal cruelty.
A
People
whole lot
need
of
to
them.
be strung up, and people need to go to jail for life for mistreating animals.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that, animals should be mistreated. Of course, animals should not be mistreated. But if you feel in your gut that you have to take to Facebook and make your feelings known about animals, but you never did that about people, you weren't my people.
Yeah, when it came to that, they were crickets.
Crickets.
Nothing to say.
And I'm not really one to force relationships. And we're talking about relationships. I'm not one to force relationships. I got all the friends I need, probably. Like people who can come to my house and just open my refrigerator door. Like those are my friends. Like I don't need a lot of y'all trailing through my house and opening up my refrigerator door. As an introvert, I know y'all can probably tell that I am an introvert.
And don't talk a lot.
I really don't.
Okay.
I talk a lot to people who I'm comfortable with, right? I'm comfortable with Wayne. We've been together 31 years. We're gonna start saying that.
We're gonna start saying that.
We're gonna start saying that. So 30 years ago, when we were friends, I don't know that the interracial piece was as heavy as it is now. Um, and I really don't know how Wayne slid in here. Like, I know now that it had to be divine intervention because I was not checking for Wayne. Like, I wasn't checking for nobody that looked like Wayne.
Swag.
I wasn't checking for nobody who looked like Wayne.
Swag.
I was maybe checking for somebody who looked like Idris
Swag.
Elba. Okay, Wayne says it was swag. I don't know.
You didn't realize you didn't want a thing back then.
I mean,
it was.
This had to be a divine intervention thing. Like this was a God thing. Because for one, again, we all got types. We no need to act like we don't have a type. We all have a type.
Mm-hmm.
And Wayne wasn't my type. Period. From Auburn. But Wayne was a nice guy. He was a cool guy. There was one class that we had in high school where I was the only black person in the class, and even in 1986, 1987 in a high school, kids was racist.
Oh yeah.
And kids didn't care about being like in Apex, they didn't really care about being racist. So this one class I was in, it was a criminal justice class, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Wayne,
that was half of.
So I was the only black person in the class. Wayne was the only person in the class who would talk to me. I wasn't trying to talk to nobody. I just let me come in here, get my lesson out. Like my grandma said, get your lesson. I won't try to make no friends in that class. But Wayne was the one person who would keep talking to me, and I would be like, dude, why are you talking to me? I didn't verbalize that, but
I didn't see it neither.
He got the look. You see the look?
I wasn't looking for the look.
Oh, what was you looking for?
I didn't care.
Oh. So somehow, Wayne was cool. We hung out in the same places. I was mostly visiting with family at these places that Wayne. I was mostly visiting with family, like my Uncle Luncey's. He had a place that I would go.
An establishment,
but and I don't know why Wayne keep telling people he will tell the story that says I met her at the liquor house. Like, bro, no, that's not where you met me. That's not.
So
that is not where you met me.
So where did I hang out at?
So
where did I hang out at?
At the club.
And
whose club was it?
Where else did I hang out at?
I mean, you probably hung out at some liquor houses.
And some.
Yeah. But where I saw you was at my uncle's. Like I was there. I probably came down there with my mama because we probably came down there to bring my uncle. That was her brother. We went down there like
he had 2 establishments. You know that?
Yes. Yes. One was a club. Actually, he had 3. My uncle was an entrepreneur. Okay. My uncle had a store that he ran. He had a club that he ran. Mm-hmm. He had a little juke joint that he ran. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's not even what we're talking about.
Okay, go ahead.
So Wayne was in a lot of the places. Wayne's best friend and my best friend were siblings. So sometimes we would be at their house at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I would see Wayne a lot. Wayne was athletic. I was athletic. Like I played softball. I played basketball. Wayne played softball. He played basketball. So we would run into each other. But he was really just Wayne. Nobody was checking for Wayne. Like I was not checking for Wayne.
Not then.
I don't need to keep saying that. I know I don't, but
no, you won't then.
I won't.
But later.
Okay, I'm gonna let Wayne finish the story.
No, you go ahead.
You go ahead.
You go ahead. You're telling a good story. You tell it so well, like Forrest Gump.
Okay. So we got together. Again, Wayne was fun. Wayne used to have a curly kid and a rat tail. Fun. He was that kind of fun. Mm. So he was a fun guy. I like to have fun. We hung out. Somehow we ended up going back home to the same place one night, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, but that way. He asked a lot when we were at these places. Is that was that a line? Like, I don't think people just come up to people and say,
I don't know. People
"Can
get in
I
trouble
go
for
with
that
you
now.
tonight?"
People get in trouble for that now.
Right?
They get in trouble for that now.
Probably not at the club.
Maybe not.
Probably not at the club. And like I liked being at the club. Like I liked the club scene. That's where I cut my teeth learning how to DJ. Because I wasn't so the DJ was my cousin. The club owner was my uncle. I didn't never pay to get in the club, so just I was just there. It was something to do. And learning how to do these things. So I normally open the club and I close the club. I was one of the last, to leave. Um, Wayne was there. Wayne, I don't need to keep telling your story, but anyway, because we're still talking about relationships and the interracial piece.
And I think it, like you said, back. I mean, way back then, it wasn't just as prevalent as it is now. I mean, as much as people don't want to look at the polarization of this world we live in now, I mean, it's real. It's what it is, and it's probably been like that. I mean, it has been like that for a long time, but 2016 just really brought it to the forefront, and it really, to me, it drew a line in the sand where where people stood, and then after that, of course, they turned everything into pick a side. That administration turned everything into pick a side. So it didn't matter what was going on in the world, you know, you were either, they made it, I think, you know, it, they made it a point to politicize everything that happened, so if it didn't matter what it was, if you liked it when it rained and they liked it when it rained, I mean, they just, it was then time to choose. So it's definitely different, now than it was then. So much more. And I think, again, it's that reason to figure out kind of where people stand and where people are at. And, you know, it made people realize, whose side are you on? Because there were things happening and things being said and, lives being taken. And just like you said, if you don't have anything to say about the value of some human life, but you have a whole lot to say about, other humans' life and other lives in general, then that just it became magnified of where you stood. And, if you're not gonna be, down for me and down for us and down for my family and down for my people, then that just says a lot. And again, I think, there was a lot of lines drawn and a lot of, when you said people, losing friends and there was just more sides being picked and chosen. But there's when we talk about relationships and how what makes a good relationship, how do people continue through relationships. There's books, there's seminars, there's conferences, there's all kind of relationship gurus. But I still think individually, people have to have their own. They have to kind of figure out their own relationship. There's guidelines you can go by, but there's no cookie cutter book you can read. There's no cookie cutter conference you can hear. Or nobody's going to say anything that's going to say, "Oh, this is going to fix my relationship," or "I can go by this and that's going to make it work." Relationships are a sacrifice. They are work, and you have to be willing to kind of work together and it's a work in progress, and it's always fluid. I mean, our relationship has continues to grow and change. We're not the same people we were 29 years ago.
Mm-mm.
We're not the same people we were 5 years ago. We're not. So even the events of 2016 and beyond could have easily put a strain on our relationship with the polarization of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not just that, but everything that happens when, a lot of times when people get into a relationship, they may get different jobs along the way. That makes an impact. If you don't have kids before and you have kids, then the dynamics change. If you have one kid and then you have another one, dynamics change. If you get a pet, dynamics change. If you have to move, dynamics change. And then all through that relationship, things are always changing. You have toddlers, you have things to do. Well, when they get older, your lifestyles change and roles change. When they move out, things change again. When they come back,
Mm-hmm.
things change again. So it's just kind of always evolving and just always fluid. Um, and I think it's always a work in progress.
It is. And a lot of times, relationships don't work out because people said they grew apart. They grew apart. So Wayne and I were 24 years old when we got married. 24 is way too young to be getting married. But I think our 24, because our son right now, like I said, is 24, and I can't see him being nobody's husband right now. So I think our 24 was a little bit different than their 24, even though
Oh yeah.
they've been exposed to more things earlier than us. It doesn't seem like um I just don't see him being married at 24. So at 24, you're just really figuring out who you are if you know yet at 24. You graduated high school, you might have graduated college, you may have started your first job, but you're trying to figure out, you know, who you are, maybe what your purpose is. At 24, I don't even know that you're thinking about purpose. I don't know that I was thinking about my purpose at 24. So it makes sense, of course, that you're gonna grow. Like Wayne said, we're not the same people that we were, but the key is to grow together, like not grow apart. And these are conversations that you have early on to know that if this is somebody who you can grow with, if it's somebody that's going to push you to be a better you, if it's somebody who supports you, who is going to stretch you out of your comfort zone, then you can grow together rather than grow apart. Um,
Mhm.
so I mean, we've made 30 years. It doesn't seem like 30 years. Um, And people always say when it's like, it ain't all been roses. Like everybody know 30 years you live with somebody and all been roses. You can't live with your mama for the 18 years and it all be roses. Like there's gonna be some hardships in a relationship. But when you're married, the goal, I think, is to stay married. Like that's what we say, till death do us part. Like that's what the goal is. So anytime that there is argument or disagreement, you
Mhm.
have to know that you're both fighting for the marriage.
Mhm.
You're on the same team. Like you're not fighting against anything other than divorce. Like we're fighting against divorce. We want marriage to win, and we're fighting against divorce. So if you go into any disagreement or any argument, first of all, know what your triggers are. And this was hard for Wayne to understand, I think, and may still be hard for Wayne to understand. When I'm mad, like we're not having a conversation while I'm mad. Like we're not going to. And I don't even have to be mad at Wayne. If one of Wayne's kids make me mad,
She don't talk to me.
we're not having a conversation until I process why I'm angry. So just know that we're not gonna have a conversation while I'm angry. Like I don't, it's not in me. I can't have a regular conversation when I am upset. Even if I'm not upset with you, give me a few minutes, a day, whatever I need,
Mhm.
whatever it is I need, and then we can discuss it. But in the moment, we're not gonna hug it out. We're not gonna have a conversation about it. We are going to we are going to give me my space
Mhm.
so that I can process. And so again, when you're getting into marriage, you have to know, how do you fight? How do you argue? Do
Yep.
you let things build up, and then when there's an argument, like you've been waiting to call him whatever it is that you want to call him, do you, like, that's not healthy. Along the way,
Mhm.
you have to let things out. In 30 years, I've never had an ulcer for keeping things in, because I'm not gonna keep things in.
I had a few for you not keeping things in.
Yeah, so now I might say Wayne might have a whole different idea about marriage, because marriage has been easy for me.
I'm-
Marriage has been, Wayne was he's the perfect person for me. He gets me, he understands me, he he supports me, like, he is the perfect person for me. He is non-confrontational. I'm very confrontational
Mhm.
sometimes. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Most of the time.
No. So Wayne was the perfect match for me. But if I again had to, if I were the person, and I am the person who was out here looking for a mate, I might have overlooked Wayne. So look around, who's around, who your friends are. If you're not in a relationship and you want to be in a relationship, some people are single and they are happy being single. Like, that's what's working for them. Like, I think it was Chelsea Handler the other day, well, a couple weeks ago, who made a video about being single and being so happy and not having to wake up in the morning to get kids dressed and get them to school, and like just
Mhm.
living her life and going to get ice cream in the middle of the day and not having any responsibilities. Like, that works for her.
Yep.
But if you want to be in a relationship and you're not in a relationship, just kind of, you know, stop with that list.
Yep.
Now, there's certain things that are deal breakers. We talked about that. Um,
I think that's part of the challenge too. Is when when people are single and then they get in a relationship, when you are used to doing what you want to do, not answering to anybody, not having to think about anyone, and your decisions doesn't impact anyone but you. And now when you get in a relationship, that kind of changes. And now the decisions I make has an impact on you. The things I do have an impact. Now there's another person in the equation. Um, but knowing again how to disagree, how to argue, how to do those things when you know a person needs time, you have to do that. But those are things in the relationship when disagreements come and someone needs quiet time to process it and the other person wants to talk right that moment. What's going to be the solution? How is that going to work in the relationship where both people are able to, fulfill their process piece? But I think you said something earlier that was like super important. When two people know that they are, you know, in that relationship and down for that relationship, and in the end, the fight is for the relationship, that makes a big difference.
mhm.
That if you've never done this, but if you were to get mad and storm out the house and take the keys and leave for 3 or 4 hours, if I knew that, if I had no doubt in my mind that it wasn't over, I make it handle that you being gone for several hours better than if I thought, uh-oh, she might not come back. So I think knowing that the relationship is priority in both people, it allows you to be able to have tough conversations, and allows you, because in the end, we know this is just a disagreement for now, and this is just a minor, I don't even want to say a setback, but this is just a little minor bump in the road, because it's going to take a lot more than this disagreement for us to go our separate ways.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that's, and knowing that it, again, I think the fear sometimes of that, and, sometimes makes a difference, and it's not allowed to be able to disagree and work things out if they're fearful that every time something happens, that person's going to pack up and leave or go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think this is a good. I'm gonna take a break. Station identification. Now, and shout out our people. Let me just holler out. Shout out my people on TikTok right quick. Mylan
Miles on
and
TikTok.
Aubrey and Aubrey's friend. Aubrey got cash, and they love Mylan. So they're in there. And on Facebook, let's say hey to my brother Rodney was here. Hey, Annette. Annette Newkirk was here. Hope you're having a very good day. Darlene is here. Hey, Tanya and Tanya McCoy and Tanya Howard. So I think Tanya remembers when you had that curly kid in red tail.
Oh, yes, she knows.
Yeah, because she said, yep, you sure did. I think that's what she was responding to. Roger Lee is here.
All right.
Roger Lee, no.
He know where I found you at.
Roger Lee know where you and Roger Lee was hanging out at.
He know where
Roger
you
Lee
at.
know he ain't see me at no places where you and Roger Lee was hanging out.
Roger Lee,
and I ain't trying to put Roger Lee business. Lee, I'm talking about you.
Just put a thumbs up in the comment if you saw it anywhere. That's all you gotta do. You ain't got to call the place. Just put it in there.
Yeah, you know. Vernita's here. Vernita is the relationship guru. Some of y'all might remember us doing the after the I do's, but Vernita, we're gonna have to bring you on to talk about relationships, and we can talk about all kinds of relationships, all the relationships we're in. We can talk about the relationship between a mom and her children, relationship between a mom and her mom, that would be me, relationship between family members. And I can say that I'm not estranged from any of my immediate family. But sometimes, family is toxic. And if you have to separate yourself and set boundaries for family, even, y'all share the same bloodline, regardless of what that is, you have to protect your peace, because you can't be the best you if people are always chipping away at your peace. So we can talk about those relationships. We can talk about work relationships. Work related, because we spend most of our time at work. So if you're not getting along with people at work, it could be stressful. It's a stressful situation. But hey, Renita. Renita says the disagreement is also an opportunity to learn each other. Right. And if you're fighting for the marriage and you're going to stay in the marriage, you definitely need to learn each other. Kelly Colvin says Linda Brown is checking in. Hey, Sister Brown, Linda Brown, one of my favorite people.
Hey.
So yes, Marlon told me to stop saying all the time. Is that me or is that Papa Marlon? We have executive producers in the
background. That's good. We need those.
Yes. Thank you, Marlon. So
do you have any other questions that we had the last time? And so we were.
Well, I think that, so we were talking about, again, the question was, how have we remained in a successful interracial relationship? And so we were talking about, 30 years ago, race relations were not like what they are now. And getting through these hard years were not really difficult because we had always had the conversation. Like I'm not a person who's sitting back thinking that racism is over because I married a white man. Like, no, ma'am, it's not. And so what I found out was that, we always hear white privilege. And for some reason, the words white privilege triggers white people. White people get triggered when you say white privilege.
What?
And So it's like we're saying that they like white people did something wrong, and that's really not what we're saying at all. We're saying being born white in this country is a privilege. And if you haven't taken advantage of that privilege, that's on you. Because this country was built for you to succeed just because you're white.
Well, you don't have to take advantage of that privilege. It's given to you every day.
But I'm saying if you haven't taken full advantage, because it's an advantage.
But I
Like,
mean, but the part of the problem is people feel like if they have not taken advantage of it, then they have not received it. I think that's
right.
part of the issue people have when they hear that. People are like, "Oh, I don't ask for things, and I don't try to devote my privilege." You get it,
Right. And you don't
without asking.
and this is something Wayne being married to a black person probably wouldn't know that he has been the recipient of white privilege. Example, just shopping. One time we were shopping for mattresses. I was out, found a mattress, asked the price of it. First, that's the first lesson I learned. If they don't have prices posted, you probably don't want to shop there.
Mm.
So anyway, I asked the price of the mattress. They gave me a price. I said, okay, I will send my husband back with his truck to get the mattress. Wayne shows up. They don't know that he's my husband. I didn't pay for the mattress. I said he's coming back. Wayne shows up, walks in all his whiteness. He gets a $50 credit
Rebate.
just for being
Discount.
white. So the price that they gave Wayne was $50 cheaper than what they gave me. I had already told Wayne what they told me the mattress was going to cost. But Wayne walks in, he didn't ask, can I get the white discount? When I walked in, I didn't ask for the black tax. They just assessed the black tax to me. So Wayne walks in, he gets the mattress for $50 cheaper. Had I not gone first and they told me the price of the mattress, he would have never known that they was charging black people more than what they were charging him. And that was not something that he asked for. He didn't walk, like I said, he didn't walk in there with his big W on his chest, white man on his chest. He just walked in looking for a mattress, and they gave him a $50 difference than what they gave me. Now, $50 is not really, we're not gonna like that's a lot of money, but how many other times? Mm-hmm. Actually, it happened to me twice.
Yeah, the other time was
I was buying a chair.
Mm-hmm. It was couch.
They told me a different price. I said, okay, I'm gonna send my husband back with the truck. He get back, all of a sudden, price cut. Chair's cheaper than what it was when I was there. Now, again, when you hear the phrase white privilege, white people, we're not saying that it is something that you've done wrong. We're just saying, again,
recognize it.
This country was built while enslaved Africans was built in the country for free. This country was built for white people to succeed. Even poor white people. They convinced poor white people, well, at least you ain't black. Mm-hmm. So that they could continue to own people. Now, we're not going to act like all white people own people. It's just like the 1% right now. Everybody was not rich enough to own people. But I bet if we trace some things back, you can figure out how your success is tied, your generational wealth is tied to the free labor of black people. Now, this conversation is the conversation that Wayne and I can. If Wayne can't handle this conversation, then we would probably not be met, because this is my truth. I have to stand in my truth. I have to live my truth. So when 2016 came, these were not new conversations that we were having. And I think when the movie Get Out came out, some interracial couples couldn't even get through. Like, y'all can't watch a movie together. Like, y'all have not had some serious conversations. Y'all have not had some serious conversations about this country. Mm-hmm. Our founding fathers, our presidents. Y'all have not had real conversations. So again, the question is, how have we been successful in an interracial relationship? And again, that goes back to letting Wayne know what I need. Like, I need you to know that this is my experience in this country. Even though race is a made up construct, it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Some white people came up with so they can continue to enslave people, right? And so, but now here we are, we're talking about CRT, which is really facts about this country. Um, and people are all up in arms about it. So again, I don't know how you can get together interracially now if y'all are not on the same page, the same freedom fighting. Wayne is right now wearing his t-shirt that says Emmett Till. You know, Emmett Till was a 14-year-old boy who was dragged out of his relative's home and badly beaten and killed and thrown in the Tallahatchie River.
Mm-hmm. Tallahatchie.
With a cotton gin
tied around his neck.
He was 14 years old. He was a kid, and grown white men did this to him. So Emmett Till was his name. Wayne's shirt says Emmett Still because it's still happening. Mm-hmm. When we talk about George Floyd, yes,
Ahmaud Arbery, Tyree
yes.
Nichols,
yes.
I mean, the list goes on and on. And for people not to be against, it's just not enough to not be racist. This world we live in, you need to be anti-racist.
Absolutely.
And you need to be, if you're going to be an ally, if you're going to be a moral champion, then you can't be you can't be for all of that happening. You have to be against that. So even, down through history, there was a lot of white people that didn't participate in the institution of slavery. But how many of them were against it? How many of them fought against it? How many of them came to be abolitionists to realize that, okay, that may not impact me, but no one deserves to be owned and treated like property. So I'm going to see if I can't do something about it. And so that's where and that's, to me, that's the line that's been drawn a long time, but it definitely became even more bolder these last 7-8 years, to where, you either, it's just not enough to say, clearly that shouldn't have happened to George Floyd. Clearly that shouldn't have happened to Ahmaud Arbery. Clearly that shouldn't have happened to, and the list goes on and on and on. But it's just not enough to say that shouldn't have. That should disturb you. It should move you, and you ought to be disgusted by it, that a human life is valued less just because they look different, identify different, live in a different place, talk different, not whatever that is, that, whatever that, that is put upon that person should just be, it should not sit well in your spirit.
Absolutely. And this is how we've stayed married for 30 years, because pretty much Wayne's family is black. Wayne got a black family. He got a black wife. His kids are black. That whole biracial thing. No, when our children walk out of this house, nobody is describing them as biracial. Mm-mm. If they're calling in a description of my boys, they're calling in black males. Mm-hmm. And so, and we didn't start out teaching them. I remember when Jordan was young, he was still in kindergarten. Like, he had not grasped the concept of race and the color of people. When we would be, at a park, when he was playing, he played t-ball or whatever. Whenever he described people, he would describe them as the boy right there with the blue shirt on, or the boy that's wearing the hat. Mm-hmm. It was a long time before Jordan would say the white boy or the black boy. And most of the time, Jordan was the only black boy on his team. It was one or two. And one time there was one black boy, one black girl, but mostly these spaces where they were playing, mostly white people. So and we only have about 5 minutes. We're not going to get into like the whole victimization. We know, of course, we don't raise our kids. We didn't raise our kids to be victims and telling them, you're black and you're gonna, no. But we did keep it real with them. Mm-hmm. You're gonna go out here and ignorant people, because they're ignorant, are going to judge you by the color of your skin, and that's it. Mm-hmm. There's going to be certain things that your friends can do while y'all are at the mall, horseplay, run around, that you are probably not going to be able to do. So we kept those things forefront and real with them, because the last thing we need for them to come home and ask, why did they treat me that way? One, they're ignorant, and two, they're ignorant.
And three, they're ignorant.
And three, they're ignorant. And racism is a disease, and they are really not looking to be cured of it. It's work for them. Mm-hmm. But we will remain vigilant, continue to be the beautiful Black people that we are, and move about in this country, looking both ways before we cross the street and looking out for the racist people.
Mm-hmm. And we may, when we came across situations, those are conversations we had with kids, old and young. We were at a restaurant in a little small town, and the kids were young when we were off of 421, and we were sitting eating in a restaurant, and I think Jordan asked the question, why is everybody staring at us?
Now, we were the only Black people in this restaurant in this little hick town.
Yeah.
On the way to Charlotte.
Yeah. But we had those conversations. And it's just amazing how sometimes people don't even realize we were headed to, where are we going? The late night reward?
I think Charlotte. No.
When we stopped at the Steak and Shake.
No, because we were in Raleigh. So I don't know.
Anyway, we were going somewhere one evening, had one of our nephews with us, had the boys with us, probably had some of their friends with us.
I wasn't in there. It was just you.
Yeah, we were coming to meet you. I don't know what. But anyway, it was me, two boys, nephew, probably a couple of their friends. It was 4 or 5 of them. So we're going to Steak and Shake, and we're stopping to get dinner because we're going to meet her somewhere. I don't even know where we were going. To the movies, late night, we were doing something. So we're in Steak and Shake, and we get our orders. We order them to go because we're going to meet her somewhere. And so we stop and make sure we have ketchup, make sure everything's in the bag, make sure everything's good. So this lady walks up to me and says, that is so nice of you. I'm like, excuse me? That's so nice of you to I don't know exactly what she said, but I knew what she was insinuating, that I had these 4 or 5 young Black boys that I have taken out to dinner. So even that mindset of we can't be family, we can't be together. And it was such a wonderful gesture of what I was doing. So I was like,
because white people always want to be the savior of Black people.
Yeah. So I was like, what? Feeding my kids? That's what's so wonderful. She was like, oh, I'm sorry. Okay, ma'am. Move it. Go on, get.
And that's one thing that always bothers Jordan. Like, okay.
That's what she got.
That every time they're out, people just assume that he's in trouble. So he's either on probation or he's in a group home, or it can't be anything positive. And he was like, why can't my daddy at least be my friend? Like, why can't we just be friends hanging out? Why is it that I always have to be somebody who's troubled? And again, because people are ignorant. That's why, Jordan. Like, it has nothing to do with you. People are ignorant, because that makes perfect sense. Like, why can't this person that you're hanging out with, that you're so close to, that you're hugging, why can't that person be your daddy?
Or
Why
your,
they always have to assume Wayne is doing something so great?
or your grandma.
Yeah. So just imagine our boys, especially when they got to be teenagers, hovering over Wayne's mama, their grandma. They just at the Dollar Tree. People assume that I guess they kidnapped her and took her to the Dollar Tree, make her spend, $5 in the Dollar Tree. People are ignorant. And so yeah, we did prepare them that people are ignorant. So I don't know. Maybe one day you can talk to them about it. But we have again now we're down to about 4 minutes. Um, we want to thank you all for joining us again on our second. We want to thank you all.
That was me that time.
Yeah, that's you. Stop that. So I don't know. Maybe drop in the chat. What do you want us to talk about? Maybe next time. So we don't have a few minutes. Wayne brought up Ja Morant at the beginning. I had no idea who this person was. Like I don't follow the NBA anymore, so I didn't know who he was. So a quick Google tells me that he comes from a family. His daddy was almost an NBA person. He ended up not going that route because Ja's mom got pregnant, so he decided he was going to be a family man, take care. So he's not one of these people who grew up like LeBron James, who has to be in a strip club or whatever, holding that little bitty gun. Like, bro, why you? First of all, why you holding the gun like that? Like, why? And so I don't really have anything to say about Ja Morant except get you some better friends, make better decisions. He's 23, so like I said, 24 we got married, so 23 we weren't flashing guns in the club. We was in the club, probably had guns.
I didn't have them. We didn't have them.
We weren't flashing them in the club.
But they were there.
It's a different generation now. I don't know, and I don't know Ja. I don't know what he was going through, why he felt like I don't know, but. Again, relationships we're talking about, get you some good friends. Get you some people who tell you cutting up right now. Like, why you need that? Mm-hmm. Like you are a millionaire several times, over 100 times over. Why? So, anywho, that's our one time for the culture tonight. Anything else? What's our next date?
Potentially.
No, potentially. So are we going to change our night? We need to let y'all know that we may be changing up Thursday night because
I don't think
Wayne has things to do.
We may have to change the opposite Thursdays, but right now,
so we may do next Thursday back to back to get on track.
Maybe we'll have to make an announcement on your page. On your page, yes. So, but right now, schedule will be the 23rd unless we change it.
All right. So we thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, TikTok. Who is that saying, hey, Miss Kelly and hey, Wayne? Why is Miss Kelly and Wayne? Like, why you so informal with people? I don't know who it is.
I don't know TikTok names.
I don't know.
And I can't see that far.
Yep. Okay.
All right. Well, we are again thankful that everyone has joined us this evening. Thankful that who may see this later, who may find this later. But you can find this again at our at the Helm with Kelly Wayne on that Facebook page. Also at YouTube at that same address at the Helm of Kelly Wayne. They will be on there on those two Facebook pages and on her page as well. So we will sign out for this evening.
All right, y'all drop in the chat what other topics y'all want us to discuss. Also drop in the chat if you want to come on. Like we will do a guest. We can have a guest spot.
Yes.
What's your expertise? What's your purpose in life? Drop it in the chat. Let's talk about it.
Is Vanita still on there?
I don't know if Vanita's still on here, but Vanita, you have an open invitation.
Yes.
Come on and do our relationship talk. You did one about parents and their adult children. I think that's a good one. That's a good one about relationships because we've raised these people up. They've moved out of our house. Sometimes they still need us. Most of the times they don't. but they still not grown to me. So maybe that's something I need to work on. We can talk about that, Renita.
As long as their address is the same as the one on
And sometimes
your
their address
license,
is not the same. Now we got several whose addresses. We don't got one whose address is the same.
all your kids got the same. Still had this
But
address.
okay,
They ain't
maybe
wrong.
maybe they ain't things we supposed to be telling the
Oh,
government.
my fault. My fault. They changed them.
Lordy.
They changed them. Some things you ain't supposed to say.
Oh, she says it's me, Sam. I used to work with Wayne. Who used to work?
Oh, Sam. All
Hey,
right.
Sam. Sam. That's why you was just Wayne. Hey, Wayne.
Yeah. Miss Kelly, she knows you older. So
Stop it.
thank you for the
I'm
respect,
not.
Sam. Thank you for the respect.
Where'd Sam go? Sam, you want to tell us where you go? Where you been? Oh, Vanita's still on here. She said, "Oh, Vanita, let us know.
Yeah, what? Let
Pick
us
you
know.
out of Thursday.
Pick you out of Thursday. Let us know, and we will send you an invite. You can do it from wherever you're at, and join us right here on the screen, and be part of our conversation. So pick you a day.
Drop it in the chat. Oh, Vanita, we're actually taking your couples night. We're doing that at our church. We're gonna talk about church on here too, because people love to hate church. Like, why? Why y'all love to hate church? Nobody says you gotta go, but that's the conversation for another day. We're 2 minutes over. Wayne, do we have music to play us out?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. Until next time.